So, what if there was a DAC, a portable DAC with an amazing headphone amp, with tubes, and it comes with a free CD player? How much would you want that? Well, today I'm lucky enough to have one, and I'm going to unbox it. So, yes, it's a DAC, and it's a headphone amp, and amazingly, it's also a CD player. One might turn this around and say it's a CD player that combines a DAC and headphone amp. But hey, where's the fun in that? Okay, it's a portable, high-fidelity CD player, the xDuoo CDM10. That's what it says on the first page of the manual. And just in case you're thinking it's yet another of the new wave of Chinese CD players, well, I guess it is. But it isn't among the new wave of cheap Chinese CD players. In fact, it'll cost you $429, the price I see today from Apos Audio, who supplied the unit to me. Not that I'm disparaging low-cost CD players. I have reviewed a few in my channel, and I've had no complaints. Well, there was that one that didn't have gapless playback, but I've put that out of my mind. I'm sure you can find out which from my previous reviews. I'll tell you later whether this CD player has gapless playback. But I need to tell you now that this is more than just a CD player, which is why I accepted it for review. It's a CD player, check, but it's also a DAC, and it has tubes. Tubes, valves, vacuum tubes, thermionic tubes, whatever you like to call them. It even has the smell of tubes. Well, it did when I first switched it on, but it has faded since. And I don't think I just imagined that. I'll come on to the CD player bit later, but there's no reason you couldn't buy it as a DAC, even if playing CDs is something presently only in your imagination. The publicity material said it will play from a computer, tablet or smartphone. Well, my tablet and phone are so old I'd be lucky to get that functionality. And I have to tell you that there's no Bluetooth. But playback from a computer, it's all there on USB-C, my favourite. PCM 16 to 32 bits, 44.1 to 384 kHz, DSD up to 11.28 MHz. Oh, there's MQA too, but I don't think we need to go into that. While I'm on USB, there are two USB-C ports on the back. One is for audio, the other is for charging. Okay, I can see why it might be preferable to keep audio and power separate, and accept maybe a tiny inconvenience. Of course, there's usually more to a DAC than just being a DAC, which generally is the headphone output, but I'll come on to that in a moment. I'll just throw in that any CD player, unless it's a transport, has a DAC anyway. It seems to make a lot of sense to allow that DAC to be used to convert a digital input to analogue. Not so common now, I think, but maybe a standard thing in the future. Not all DACs have headphone outputs, but maybe they should. What do you think? Anyway, the CDM10 has a headphone output. Did I say a headphone output? It has 3 headphone outputs. I've reviewed quite a lot of gear over the last couple of years, and I don't think I've seen this before. It has a normal 1/4 inch, a 4.4mm balanced, and a 3.5mm mini jack. As an audio professional, as I like to see myself, or should I say an ex-audio professional at my advanced age, if I'm going to use a jack, it should of course be 1/4 inch. But so much equipment only has a mini jack headphone output. I find myself using that with an adapter, and I don't have any headphones with a 1/4 inch jack wired on directly. So yes, all 3 should be a standard thing. Come on, manufacturers, why not? But as well as my mini jack headphones, I do have headphones that will accept a balanced cable. So I checked out the 4.4mm output with a pair of Verum 1s, which are planar and very low impedance. You know what? Sounds fine. And there is most definitely no lack of volume. Audiologists, rejoice! I'll throw in that there are RCA analog outputs on the back. We wouldn't want to be missing those. And, maybe a little unexpectedly, coaxial and optical digital outputs. So you can use the CDM10 as a transport with an external DAC. Commenters, would you want to do that? I was going to have a chapter titled Operation, but really this player works exactly as you would expect. I think these things have been pretty much settled for 40 years now, so I'll skip that for the more interesting fancy stuff, as I'm calling it. First and fanciest has got to be the tubes. A CD player with tubes. Well, they do exist. A portable CD player with tubes, that's got to be unusual, at least. So, you don't have to use the tubes. It's a simple matter of in or out. Tubes or no tubes. Clean, pristine, digital sound quality, or a sound texture that's travelled through history all the way from the 1910s. Okay, I jest. A bit. But for a CD player to have a little bit extra, well, why not? And portable too, did I mention. But there's more. You can have upsampling too, 2 times or 4 times. This is interesting. I think it's pretty much accepted that upsampling of 44.1 kHz digital audio is a good thing. So why would you switch it out? To get the authentic sound texture of CD, of course. Just like vinyl enthusiasts like the vinyl sound texture, why should CD enthusiasts do without? As for 2 times and 4 times, well, I suppose that the eagle-eared among us, who are probably fewer in number than they think they are, can hear the benefit of 2 times. But can they hear more benefit in 4 times? I'd have to explore that in a different video, whether 4 times is really audibly better. But commenters, please tell us what you think. Another item of fancy stuff is the filter, with options, which are listed in the manual, but could benefit from more explanation. The manual needed my +3 reading glasses. Just mentioning. As for filter options, though, I'm all for them, although I doubt if I would ever be able to hear the difference. If your high-frequency range extends far enough, have fun. It's what the filter options are there for. Or perhaps to give you just a little more audiophile anxiety and unease. Again, DAC reconstruction filters in general would need a whole video to go into. But if you're new to this, I definitely recommend that you investigate. I have a quibble here. In my unboxing, you might have noticed a high-res audio graphic. This can only be true in parts. How one might interpret high-res could be open for debate, but my careful reading of the relevant Wikipedia page reveals that CD is not high-res. Indeed, the whole point of high-res seems to be better than CD. CD, as you know, uses 16 bits at 44.1 kHz. No one in active audio production uses anything fewer than 24 bits, unless they have some really, really compelling reason. I use 48 kHz for my own productions. I'd use 96, but it makes my computer work harder. If I were recording in stereo, say live classical music, then I'd definitely use 96. 96 is necessary to claim high res. So in this sense, CD is the past. CD quality is really very adequate, but it's not high res. Now, one might wonder whether the CDM10 is high res in the DAC department. Well, I have to look at what it says in the manual. For the line outputs, both balanced and unbalanced headphone outputs, the frequency response is given as 20 Hz to 20 kHz, plus or minus 0.5 dB. High res in the analog domain requires 40 kHz, at least according to the Japan Audio Society. That's my quibble, but in practical terms I doubt if it means much to many people. Now, what else for performance? Aha! Gapless playback. Yes, I've tested this with the British Standard Gapless Playback Test CD. Dark Side of the Moon. Plays perfectly. Other than the issue or non-issue of high res, I detect no problems with sound quality. And the headphone capability is excellent. 6 dB turbo boost if your headphones need it, 6 dB bass boost if you consider that the producer or mastering engineer of the disc you're listening to has given you short change in the low end. I think a lot of potential buyers of this player will want it for the optional tube sound. If there is such a thing, some might ask. Well, of course there is. Ask any music producer who probably has several tube emulation plugins in his or her digital audio workstation. Or even hardware, like I have, and I like to dial it up hard. But in hi-fi, well, we'd probably want the tube sound to be more subtle. I've listened to this player in tube and non-tube mode, and I'm struggling to hear any difference. In particular, I tried a 100 Hz sine wave, where if there is any tube sound, there should be audible harmonics. I heard none. Your mileage may vary, of course. But here's a point that some other reviewers seem not to have noticed, or at least not bothered to comment on. The manual states explicitly that the headphone amplifier features a switchable design between modern transistors and classic vacuum tubes. The headphone amplifier. So from what we can clearly see, there are no tubes on the RCA outputs, nor the digital. How about a quick demonstration of this player's portability? As a portable CD player, it has to be able to withstand handling and knocks. Here's my handling and knock test. That's the audio direct from the player, no microphone audio. I'll let you decide. Yes, I do like this player. I like the build quality, the features, the operation, and everything I've commented on positively in this video. I might, if I was pushed, say that the headphone volume knob is a very tiny bit difficult, but that's it. Oh, and the manual. When will manufacturers learn that a lot of the people who buy this stuff are old guys with poor reading vision? Old girls too. Other than these small and really almost insignificant points, yes, I like it a lot. As usual, this was sent to me, but other than that, there is no payment or influence involved. So I can say what I like, and I've said it. See you soon.